do DFIR,
Focus
where
is on the
Cybertalks
good.
Remind position as a soft lead. So it's a multi-role. Okay. So first of all, no, um, if ever you have a question with regards to this, no, you will think of cybersecurity and information security as quote unquote related. So first, I'm not sure if we'll be able to share the what you call this
The
the link.
Mentimeter. Yep.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
We're
The
sharing
link.
it via chat.
Okay, okay. Wait. I think I can join my other device. Para na makita ko. Yeah. If ever, so what do you think? Oh, what do you think from the audience now? What is the difference between cybersecurity and information security? I mean, I would like to hear your thoughts now. So so I would know what is lacking or what is the common trend with regards to cybersecurity and information security. Okay. Mm, let me see. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Privacy, types of threats. It's a very specific one. Cyber network assets. Oh, that's good actually. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, digital forensics and law enforcement. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. Okay. Very interesting. Very interesting though. Very nice. Okay. So I will be okay. Nalagdagan pa. Okay. Data Privacy Act. Okay. I was waiting for that. Data Privacy Act. Okay. Sensitive data. Protection of data. Yep. Okay. Okay. So I'll be diving. No idea. Okay. No idea. I mean, most of you, probably doesn't have any idea about cybersecurity. No. So I'll be discussing it further later. No. But I'll be tackling some of these words first. Data Privacy Act is a law here in the Philippines. I mean, all of the countries. So Data Privacy Act of 2020, 2012, RA 10175 or 173. I'm not very sure. And cybercrime is also related. That 2004 ata yung cybercrime law, if I'm right. I'm not pretty sure with dates, no, but I'm sure we tackled this in information security in my masters, no. So yeah, okay, that's a very good idea. Very broad ideas, no. I like it. So I'll be proceeding in my next slide, na lang, no. So yeah, thank you. We will be continuing another one questions, no. So first, I will be describing the cybersec and information security. So the information security and cybersecurity are often confused, as mentioned earlier. Now, information
So
security
yeah,
is a
okay, that's a
crucial
very
part
good
of
idea. Very
cybersecurity,
very broad
but is
ideas.
used exclusively to ensure data security. So play with words, no? Kasi information security is already the definition of data security. And cybersecurity is more specific, but also includes information security because cyberspace, cyber attacks, or anything related to cybersecurity is already data or information. Yet we need protection. That we need protections, no. So that's a very good very good line for information is also part of cybersecurity, and cybersecurity is also part of information security. They are working hand in hand. Okay? So next naman natin, no? The question naman is, what is considered as the weakest link in cybersecurity and information? Ayan. So another mentee, no? Mentee.com. No? Ayan. What is considered as the weakest link? Ito yung gusto ko malaman. I want to know what is your idea. What is your idea? Okay, phishing link. Okay. We're getting to the technical stuff agad. Okay. Okay, law. Okay. Mm-hmm. Culture change. Mm-hmm. Very interesting there. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, okay. Awareness. Okay. That's a very good, very close answer. That's a very close answer. No? But I also want your honest opinion. No, no need to deep dive in social engineering. Okay. Okay, that's a very good answer, no? Masyado na maraming pumipili ng social engineering ngayon kasi naisip nila magandang answer yan. Pero just so you know, it's not the right answer. You will know, you will know. Okay, I saw the answer. I saw the answer here. Let's see, let's see. For about how many more seconds? 10 to 20 seconds more. Let's see if you already know the answer here now. Okay, okay. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Nag-spit pa yung answers, okay? Okay. Okay. Okay, okay. Okay. So, yun na. Lumabas na yung gusto kong answer. I mean, it's fine. Okay. Siguro yun na. Yun na yung ano natin. Stop natin yung Menti. So, I'll be continuing my discussion here. So, as mentioned here, there are many words, no? There are many possible links or possible weakest link in cybersecurity and information security. But there is one common theme in everything in cybersecurity. That is humans, human factor or people. It is considered as the weakest link. That will be such a harsh answer, a very aggressive answer to know that humans is and was always will be the weakest link in cybersecurity information security. But why though? Bakit? Why will it be the weakest link? No. So I'll be discussing some. There are threats later. I'll be discussing some news regarding this, why humans is the weakest link. So I will continue on with the discussion with my formal seminar. No? Okay. So ngayon, terminologies. So to disclose anything, to disrupt it, modify it, or even destroy it, delete it, or what. You're not authorized to do anything to to violate the data or information in order to provide integrity, confidentiality, and availability. Oh, that's common theme, no? That's a very common theme. CIA. I'll be discussing the terms later, the CIA later. So cybersecurity, the term cybersecurity is cyber. It is very related to to protect or defend the use of cyberspace or the internet, the interweb from cyber attacks. The prevention of damage to similar to information security, damage to use of exploitation or needed the restoration of electronic information and communication system. So the key term here is electronic information in comparison to information security. So information security is not limited to cyber or electronic stuff. It is also printed stuff, printed machine hardware. There are physical security. There are guards stationed in one subdivision to another, or maybe in a data center. There is a keypad, or you need to have a key card to access a specific location. So it's a overall discussion of security if you're discussing information security with which is including also the law, the policies by the company that should be followed. The cybersecurity is very focused on the information in electronics or in cyberspace, in cloud, in the interweb, as mentioned earlier, no? So that's the main key point here, no? So ngayon, what is CIA triad? As mentioned earlier on both terms, no? Confidentiality is the what you call access to authorized personnel, to by authorized personnel. So the key term is access by. I mean, the limits information access to authorized personnel or by the authorized personnel only. So if you don't have authorization to access a specific file, for example, quote unquote, your photos, others are not authorized to access it. You need their PIN, their password to unlock your phone. For example, your personal phone, you're messing with the confidentiality of my files because it's mine. You're not authorized to access it in the first place. Next, after that, the integrity. So, can be altered by authorized users only. So, in other words, as similar to the confidentiality, in this case, the integrity part is the altering or the change of anything, information with regards to the information. You added a additional photo, you screenshotted a photo that is not yours. So for example, you altered something, you changed something within the possession of another person. So it's changing something, no? So availability is the availability or the accessibility of a specific service or a system. So in this case, it's a phone. Accessibility, na-access ko ba siya with regards to anything, no? Anything related to the user or anything related sa akin, or I'm authorized to access my Facebook. Is it always online? I'm accessing it at 3 a.m., 3 p.m., 12 a.m., or any time of the day. It is availability. It's also focused on, are you available to access this during this time? Um, so very specific. No? It depends on the context naman sometimes. So it's sometimes context based with regards to availability. What time, what location. Ayan. So very specific. So in other words, you need to be authorized during this time, authorized during in this location, and only in this location only, not anywhere else. Okay. So next, the overview of cybersecurity. No. So what is cybersecurity? So as discussed, paulit-ulit ako cybersecurity, repetitive na siya, consists of all technologies and practices that keep computer system and electronic data safe or electronic information safe. So protection of cyber-related stuff, electronics, technology, and anything in between. So not the printed stuff, no. The specifically the technology within the internet, the electronics communication, for example, computer systems or network or switches or firewalls. That's all about cybersecurity. Not the hardware stuff, not the hardware. The connection or the communication of each byte or each bit with each other. That's a very technical stuff, no? Some very technical stuff. Okay. So ngayon, the purpose, what is the purpose naman natin, no? Or similarities and differences ng cybersecurity and information security. I'm always tackling the information security part. So you don't forget what is information security, because some of the jobs in information security is also good, is also related in cybersecurity. Sometimes it is more detailed or more technical. Sometimes cybersecurity is more technical, minsan high level. Depends on the position itself. Okay, so the first similarity is ensuring confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information. It's either what you call this, no? It's either printed or not. So information, any information. Yun yung main similarity nila. And it is mostly operational. So yun yung focus niya. Next is information security and cybersecurity differences. No? Information security is the processes and tools designed or methodologies. So this is a very paper-based or parang process-based. What are we supposed to do? What are the limitations? What you call this laws, rules, and regulations, no, to prevent the business from being destroyed. So that's it. So information naman is focused in process in the designed and implemented. So this is the common term to protect, print, electronic, or any form of confidential, private, sensitive information or data. So that's the main key points here. Then cybersecurity, compared to information security, is all the technologies and practices that keep computer systems and electronic information and data safe. So, yun yung main comparison ng isa. Then the last one is the art of protecting networks, devices, and data from unauthorized access or criminal use and practice. So yun yung main descriptions nila, no. So you can use this table to very differentiate the two terms. Okay? And to differentiate the possible jobs that you would like, because not all of us will be technical, not all of us will be administrative, not all of us will be what you call this a position that we would like. So you should be be open-minded to some possibilities of overlaps. Information security, sometimes cybersecurity, minsan both. Okay? Now, cybersecurity threats. So, yung mga common threats natin sa narinig, malware, phishing, ransomware, virus. So, this is some common terms that we always use, that news use, no? Ginagamit nila, or they commonly use. Malware is malicious software. It is abbreviated na pinatikle. So, this software is very intrusive and destroys or steals your data in your computer or system. So, that's malware. What about virus? What is the comparison of virus? Virus is a form of malware, and it spreads from computer to computer while infecting a targeted file or to be its host. So similar to a virus. So for example, COVID-19 is a virus. It needs a host, a human host. It can infect other mammals or other animals, specifically only humans. So that's targeted, similar to viruses. Ransomware, in comparison, is a malware. No, I jump over phishing. I'll be discussing it in the last one. No, form of malware that encrypts your files, then sell it to you. It's like you're holding the victim's file for ransom. So that came from, you need to pay the ransom to get your files. But take note, even if you paid it, there is no possibility that you will have. There is no. It is unlikely that you will have your data back, even you pay. That's why it is some of the countries in other countries is it's not, what you call this, it's not eligible to pay, or not acceptable to pay ransom. If you pay a ransom, you will pay a fine to the government. So that's one of the countries, no. So it is not legally, it's not legal to pay ransom anymore. Not unlike before, no. Ngayon hindi na. It's not legal anymore. So be careful if you've been attacked by ransomware. The best option to do here is just reformat from backup and go on with your life. Be careful next time, of course. Lastly is the phishing. Phishing is the most commonly used by attackers because it's very simple. Users are very simple to manipulate or to attack, no, and be victims. Okay. So phishing is specifically sending fraudulent communication using email. So there are different types of phishing: spear phishing, whaling, vishing. Vishing is voice. So, but the common goal here is to steal information, sensitive information. It's either financial or credit card information or login information for your other website, all other social media. So to do whatever. Okay, so be careful, no, on answering phishing emails. Okay, so now I will be discussing, or I'll be showing you some examples. There are two examples here of news that have been highlighted this year. September 23, 2012, 2022, no, Philippine health care among most vulnerable to attacks, according to Kaspersky. Kaspersky is one of the antiviruses that's very known to cybersecurity world. So in Kaspersky, there are monitored remote access in many that is exploitable. The term here, exploitable, or to abuse some vulnerabilities or some gaps or some holes in your system, then healthcare or public healthcare facilities or institutions have very what you call this, vulnerable systems or computer systems, no. That's why they've been attacked multiple times for the past years, and they are being targeted, especially in the Philippines, being targeted by attackers because they are easy targets. That's why. So to improve that, there are many solutions to that. One of my colleagues are a doctor. So they are concerned with the status of the healthcare in the Philippines because of the cybersecurity attacks. That's why he is trying to relate cybersecurity and nursing or healthcare in general with cybersecurity and information security to develop a more secure place for our for our information. Okay. So that's one of the news. The other one also related to healthcare, no? How the Philippine healthcare industry can become keen or sharp on threats to cybersecurity. Once na exploit siya, social engineering is one of the main here, or sending spam emails, because the healthcare industry doesn't have the enough resources to accommodate everything. They are already bombarded with what you call this, bombarded with with their jobs now, including now we need to include they need to check everything, the emails to be secure. This very overwhelming for the healthcare industry, no. Sometimes we need to help them na, kasi it's especially some companies are having a hard time with cybersecurity attacks already. How about the not so technical companies, no, such as the healthcare industry? So it's very what you call this, very easy to attack, especially if users or humans in particular is very not aware, unaware with regards to the cybersecurity attacks. Okay, so the what you call this? The conclusion of this, everything is uh, vulnerable. You just need to find it. Okay, so sometimes most of the vulnerable systems are very easy to find. Kumbaga. So, okay, so yeah. So as we end our discussion, no, I'll be discussing the field and careers that is available in the what you call it, in the industry, what you call this, industry field, no? In the industry of cybersecurity. So infosec in short, or cybersec. First is infosec directs our strategy specifically on the documentation or operational or budget of protection of the enterprise itself, or the institution, no. So yun yung main scope niya, or the scope of the responsibility encompass communication, application, infrastructure. It's very very overall. Kumbaga, cybersecurity is very specific, assess, plan, and act security measures, no, very specific to the practice of how to do it, or the processes in security breaches and attacks, no, during the security breaches. Very focused on the technical stuff. The information is very high level or managerial part. So that's the main comparison here, no? Okay, so next is the field and career, information security and cybersecurity in comparison. So medyo mahaba siya, summarize ko lang siya. Information security, katulad ng sinabi ko, direct and approved design and security systems. In comparison to cybersecurity is monitor computer networks to identify any issues or cybersecurity breaches that need to be resolved. So ito technical, ito is designing or implementing, or somewhat very high level before the operational part of cybersecurity. So that's technical, then managerial or administrative type, no? So yun yung main comparison ng dalawa. Okay? So ngayon, what are the titles? There are many titles, no, employers na marami. AWS or Amazon Web Services, Adobe, Cisco, Comcast, Salesforce, Google, Raytheon. Sobrang daming there are so many companies that hires cybersecurity or information security positions. It depends on what you are looking for and what do you like to do. Okay? My position is cybersecurity. So, makikita nyo dito sa baba ito. Cybersecurity Operations Center. So, nasa center. On a service level. So, I'm currently focusing on the service providing to other clients namin. So, that's about it. Okay? So next naman, if ever you want to apply to our company, you can email me here, or you can message me in LinkedIn. Our company is currently looking for some interns and some new SOC analyst one. You can apply. I'll be one of the interviewees if ever. I'm also part of the hiring committee in the department of our department, no, on our cybersecurity department. Okay. So if ever you have questions, any more questions, I'll be glad to answer them. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerome. We are now going to begin answering the questions submitted during this presentation. So as a reminder to the students, you can still submit questions through the questions pane in your attendee control panel. Okay, so while we are waiting for the questions, So, Jerome, um, for the UE students or for the students listening, what are the skill sets that they need to prepare if they wanted to enter the cybersecurity field?
Oh, skill sets. Okay. I wait. I think I included that in my. Oh, I forgot to unhide it earlier. Okay, that's fine. Um, skill sets. First skill sets that you need is discipline and due diligence. Okay. Actually, in cybersecurity, you just need to research everything. If you don't know something, you research and ask someone who has not greater knowledge about the topic. For example, you can ask me about anything or what, but specifically, you need to be disciplined enough to ask, and not ask everything. What you call, what will I do? What will I study? No, you need to do your own research or to do your basic, at least basic research at least before asking the questions that is very answerable using the internet. No, so
Hmm.
okay, so yeah, that's about it actually.
Okay. The next question. This is a bit technical.
Mm-hmm.
How can we identify identity theft, and how can we prevent it?
Okay, how can we identify identity theft? Then how can we? Okay, this is a common trope or common idea in no, common idea in the cybersecurity. Identity theft is like you're just impersonating or you're spoofing someone. You're spoofing someone or you're identifying yourself as another person. So it's like getting the information from another person using their ID, using their what you call this, using their information, very basic information. What is your first name, last name, middle name, birthday? That's your information. It's already information theft, no? Then after that, you will just to need to be the identity itself, or you need to be the person itself. So you need to be what you call it. What is my position in this company? What is my SSS? It's all identity theft. So you can identify one identity theft from other out of incidents or cybersecurity attacks by knowing the information, very specific information of the person, then comparing it to the attack. Okay.
Hmm. That's nice. Okay, so next question. What are the opportunities we can expect if we enter the field of information security?
Okay. Expectations about cybersecurity. Um, you can expect many learnings that you will not think that exists. For example, law enforcement and digital forensics or a part of cybersecurity will be related with regards to cybercrime. Anything about cybercrime, or for example, in this case, child pornography porn or anything related to the cybercrime attacks, you need a in this generation, there's a computer related. You need forensics for that. Who will you call?
Hmm.
A police officer, a cybersecurity, or both. So you will expect interconnected stuff that is not that you will not expect that is connected. Okay.
Okay. Um, Next question. What do you consider, Paul, as the biggest threat to cybersecurity?
Okay. I think I already answered this now, but I will be reiterating. I will be repeating myself. Okay. So the most or the weakest link now is the humans, because humans are easily fooled. Machines are not. They are just following what humans are encoded to them. So the weakest link is the human itself. Then they are being fooled by identities by other people. Then sometimes phishing links, for example, or oh, I need some money, can you send me? I'm a prince in Nigeria. Okay. So that's a common
Very
theme
common.
of
Yeah, yeah,
okay, so yeah.
yeah. So, I think we're done with our last question here. Is it fulfilling to enter the cybersecurity field? So, what's your
Okay.
personal take there, Jerome?
Okay. Very personal take here. Okay. I'll be explaining my personal experience first. So, first, as mentioned earlier, I studied cybersecurity. I started cybersecurity in Trend Micro, not in my college days. College days was ECE, related ECE.
Hmm.
But first time I didn't know about information security. And after that, after I started in a job in cybersecurity, now I developed something of yearning to learn more about it. I
Yeah.
want to learn about it. So the fulfillment here is you want to learn more about cybersecurity. You want to protect someone or protect something, your family, about identity theft or about cybersecurity stuff. This will be your good starting point. And after that, you can traverse from many fields. There are many certifications that is connected, as mentioned earlier. Okay.
I think that's all. Thank you. Thank you, Engineer
Okay.
Jerome.
Thank you.
We
Thank you very much.
appreciate you being here. Now, um, now let's jump to the next speaker. He is a graduate of Industrial Engineering from the University of the Philippines and currently taking master's degree in Applied Business Analytics from the University of Asia and Pacific. He has been in different big corporations developing business analytics, and he is currently serving as a segment strategy insights manager in Security Bank Corporation. Let's all welcome Mr. Jeric Benostro.
Thank you for the warm introduction, Ray. And thank you, Jerome, for your very insightful talk about information and cybersecurity. So let me first get my presentation, and let me know if you can see my screen. Uh, are
Yes,
you able to see my screen right now?
yes, Jeric.
Yes, perfect. Okay. So, good afternoon, everyone. First of all, thank you very much for coming to this tech talk. And it's funny. It sounds like TikTok, right? So, hi, I'm Jeric. So, I'll be talking about data analytics. So, from data to imperatives. Um, yeah, so Ray already introduced me a while ago, but just a quick recap. So I studied industrial engineering from UP Diliman. Currently, I work in Security Bank as a strategy insights lead. So I practice strategy and analytics. And currently, I'm studying masters in UENP. So I'm taking masters in applied business analytics. You might be wondering how I got into this space. Analytics is actually quite new, or at least the term is quite new, but the practice is has been there for a while already. I started working in DXE technology right after graduation, and to be honest, I really just got lucky. Um, at that time, analytics was just becoming a buzzword, and then I got hired as a business analytics and strategy associate. And from there, I really just get excited about data, what data can do for the business or organization. And it's really fun tinkering with numbers and creating presentations that will drive the business. Yeah. So let me start off with what data analytics is. So data analytics is the science of examining raw data in order to draw conclusions about the information. So let's break that down. But first, I'd like to ask you what your thoughts are about data analytics. So if you could grab your phone or get the link here and use the code, I'd highly appreciate that. And I'll be sharing the word cloud for this one. I think Miss Barbie will be sharing the link as well on the chat. Let's have maybe 1 minute on this one. All right, very good answers. And actually, most of these are part of data analytics. Yeah, good decision making. Yes, that one. Making sense of data, examining data, yes, problem solving. All of these are part of analytics, and it's actually a very big space in terms of roles, in terms of things to do in the space. So I'll be discussing what data analytics is. Um, Yeah, okay. I'll move back to my slide. Sorry. Okay, so how do we get from data to imperative? So data here is really just creation of the data from maybe operational and or transactional sources. For example, businesses or organizations would be getting data from customers, data about their products, the sales and marketing would be getting data, or it could be data about the employees of an organization. So at this point, data is being collected. And then the next part is information. So what we do here is we consolidate all these data. So from the data part, we collected right the HR or employee data, customer data, sales data, etc. And we put it into a single repository to answer what happened. So in general, at this point, it's mostly about data warehousing, business intelligence, etc. And then the next part is insights. So in insights, what we want to happen here is find patterns or highlights to answer why something happened or what could likely happen next. So at this point, it's diagnostic analytics. So diagnosing a problem that the organization is experiencing, or predictive analytics, meaning can you find out what would happen next? Like, for example, what this customer would do if you do this. So that's predictive analytics. And then lastly, imperatives. So it's developing various options for the organizations or your stakeholders to suggest to them what should be done next. So this is prescriptive analytics. And I think this is the most valuable part and the most important part. We want to be able to reach this part from the data to information insights, because we want to be able to do action from what we know and what we found out. So the people involved here are typically the business, the leaders of your organization, or even just the managers or leads of a specific team. And I think we have plenty of words here. So let's connect this to our daily life. I'll give you a quick homework for you to do. You don't need to do this if you don't want to, but if you're interested, I want you to try this. So the first part, I want you to take note of your hourly activities for a week. Could also be 30-minute activities. So you just track it down on paper or maybe Excel. Do this daily for a week from Sunday to Saturday. And maybe you could list down the your time spent on social media, your time spent studying, of course, and then time spent with family or friends, or exercise, whatever, right? So you could categorize that on your own. And then, so that's the data part. So that's getting the data. And then the next part, you try to calculate the percentages of each activity, or maybe you could plot it in a chart, like a bar chart. These are the activities that I've done. And maybe create pie charts or donut charts to see, oh, okay, this is the most, this activity takes most of the week or the day. So that's the information part, the consolidation of the data that you've gathered. And then the next part is what patterns or highlights can you see, right? So this is the insights part. So maybe you're able to see, oh, I'm spending 50% of my week on social media, or you could also see that you sleep more on the weekends over the weekdays. So from there, what can you do about it? The imperative. So maybe, right, you saw you're spending 50% of your time on social media, and maybe you want to reduce that. So you could spend it more on studying or with friends. So what you can do about that is think about it. Can I reduce my social media time for 1 hour? And then that's the target that you'll be setting. And then for the following week, collect your data again and see if you were able to improve, or were there any changes in the patterns or highlights in your daily life. So that's one particular example of how we apply data in our daily life. That's also data analytics, right? So it's really the scientific method or most systematic method on getting data and getting insights from it. So you might be wondering what applications we have on analytics. So these are 4 companies, And these are not sponsored. I have no affiliation with any of these companies, but I'm sure you're very familiar with this, and I hope you'll be able to relate with these companies and examples. So first is Netflix. Try to remember when you signed up, they asked you about your interests initially, and then you watch movies or TV series, and then later on you'll be able to see they have these numbers on the movie that you're looking at the trailer, and you'll see this is 86% similar to what you've watched. So that's one example of a recommender system, meaning they gather your data, what you've previously watched, what are your interests, what you didn't watch or finish. So they use that data to recommend to you a particular movie. So the goal here for Netflix, and this is the important part, the goal of the company, the goal for Netflix is to make you stay in their platform. Obviously, because they have other competitors in the market. So we have Amazon, we have HBO Max or Disney, who just came in right now. So it's really a competitive space, and they want to maximize getting your time into their platform. Right. So the second one is Lazada. So I believe most of you use Lazada. So they actually have plenty of analytics applications in their platform. And one example is bundling. Bundling meaning, so if you chose one product, they'd be suggesting one or two more products to include into your cart or basket. Right. And they do this based on past past purchases of other customers and also your purchases. So they would be suggesting this bundling of products for them to be able to sell more to you, meaning more profit for the company. And they do have other examples, right? When you, for example, you search now what you're looking for. For example, you're looking for a pen maybe, and then later on when you come back to the app, you'll be seeing on the front screen suggestions on pens that you may be able to buy. That's for Lazada. Then third, Facebook, and I think this is very similar. This is very adjacent to what Jerome discussed on social engineering, the humans, the information, right? So on Facebook, one example is ad placement. So for Facebook, they gather your data on maybe your likes, your where you spend your time. So for example, reels, do you use your feed more often? So and what other activities you do inside Facebook. So they use this data to identify what ads they would show to you at the right time, at the right place. For example, it would come up on your screen, on your reels, right before the best part of the video, right? So that's ad placement. And for Facebook, this is very important because they want to maximize the time that you spend on the platform. So they want to maximize that because actually Facebook is not just a social media company, it's also an ads company. So they get money from that as well. So businesses, whether small or big, would spend money on placing ads on the platform, and that's where Facebook profits as well. And then fourth, Grab. Grab also has plenty of industry applications of analytics. But one example is calculating the fare that you're paying for when you book a ride. So they use data such as the supply and demand. So for example, if it's traffic or it's rush hour, the prices go up, right? So there's analytics behind it on calculating the optimal price. And of course, they're also using other data in terms of the route that they will be suggesting to the driver, etc. So those are the popular industry applications. So I hope I piqued your interest in terms of the data analytics space, and I want you maybe to imagine yourself in this and in this analytics space, and look at the table on the right side of the screen, and maybe you can envision yourself in any of these roles. So and this differs in any organization. If it's a small organization, typically you'd be doing all these roles. So you'd be called the unicorn. Or if it's a larger and more mature company, it's one role, for one person, one role. So you wouldn't be doing the data, information, insight to imperative. You wouldn't be doing all of that, just a specific area. So that depends on the company. But I'll be discussing further what each one is on the next slide. So I'll pause here for you to read what's on it, but of course I'll be reading it for you as well. Right. So let me start with the data steward. So the data steward, typical names or job titles for this one is the data privacy officer, data security officer, data governance manager, curator, or librarian. So actually, it's quite it does intersect with what Jerome does, but this is very specific on data. So the data steward develops and enforces, maintains the organization's data governance processes to ensure the availability and ethical use of high quality data. So for example, they need to make sure that the definitions of data is being followed, is being cascaded, and documented. And then the second one is data engineer. So this one is quite technical, and the job titles are typically an ETL developer, data architect, data warehousing professional, big data engineer. So this is the very engineer part of analytics. They design, construct, test, and maintain the data infrastructure. So the data warehouse, data lakes, etc., including applications that do the ETL or extract, clean, and transform from the databases. So the transactional systems or the centralized data repositories where we can get the data. And then the third, I think this one is the more famous name of in the space. So this is what they call the sexiest job in the 21st century. But if you're trying to look for this on LinkedIn or if you're trying to research about it, it's actually very technical. It requires statistical and mathematical rigor and being able to code and program. So the typical titles for data scientists is a statistician, statistical modeler, advanced analytics professional, sometimes more focused on machine learning researcher, etc. So the data scientist leverages statistical techniques and creates analytical models to derive new insights from quantitative and qualitative data. And then the next one, is the functional analyst. So I know most of you are undergraduates and you're more likely to get a role as a functional analyst. So the functional analyst is basically usually the entry level, but you could also be a senior functional analyst, and they're very focused on the domain, and they really would need to know their specific domain. So that's why the titles would look like HR analyst, marketing analyst, financial analyst, or operations analyst, and could be research analyst. And they have to be able to understand these functions very well because they need to be able to define problems and then create the solutions from there. So a typical analyst would be a data analyst, or reporting analyst could be one. So they usually utilize the data and leverage on derived insights to help organizations make better decisions on a specific functional domain. And then lastly, we have the analytics manager. So the analytics manager could range from a project manager or maybe a chief data officer. So it's actually a huge space as well. Typically, if you would like to become an analytics manager, job titles would be data engineering manager, data science manager, analytics translator. And I think the most important skill, at least for an analytics manager, is being able to translate the technical things of analytics to the business needs and be able to translate that to non-technical audience. So typically, the analytics manager develops and guides data-driven projects from initiation to planning, execution to performance monitoring and closure. So those are the roles in the analytics space. Of course, there are plenty of adjacent roles. afterwards, maybe if you started as a functional analyst, you'd want to go into the business side. So you'd be heading a business unit or something that piques your interest. But I'd like to thank AAP. So I'm part of this organization, Analytics Association of the Philippines, is where I got this data. Yeah, and then and maybe now that I've shared all of that, and you'd want to explore this space, and you'd want to lay your groundwork, right? So these are the 5 skills that you could start with. The first 3 are technical and usually the fundamentals of entering the space. So the first is SQL or SQL. So it's a structured query language, meaning it's the language you use to speak with the databases. So you could compare that with the language you use to ask the waiter, hey, this is the food that I want. So SQL is like that. You use this language to communicate with the databases to get the data you need. And then second is Excel. I believe this is the language of the business, whether you're technical or non-technical. So whether you're presenting your reports or analysis or maybe dashboards, Excel is a very good use for everyone in the analytics space. And I'd advocate for you to understand its uses. And it's a really good start for you to do analysis and enter the space. And then third fundamental would be data visualization. So there are plenty of tools in this data visualization, but I would suggest Power BI and Tableau. And learning one or the other would already help you understand all the other tools. They're all quite similar, but will really depend on which company you'll be joining, because different companies would use different tools. But Power BI and Tableau are very powerful tools in terms of data visualization. And of course, in line with that, being able to present the data. Then fourth, the second line, the fourth and the fifth skills, I would say learn this along the way. And it depends really on what you'd like to do and what you'd want to specialize in. So the fourth is communication. Communication meaning being able to empathize with your stakeholders or the business, and being able to translate their needs, the business needs, to analytics problems, and then hopefully analytic solutions. So that's one. And two, presenting and being effective in terms of communicating. Storytelling. So here, you'd want to be able to use the data, find out insights about it. But the key goal here and the value that you will really bring into the table is being able to suggest and persuade the business to do this action based on the data you've gathered. So that's the fourth skill, communication or storytelling. And then lastly, a programming language. So if you want to advance your skills or you want to proceed with more technical work, more higher value work, I advocate for you to learn Python or R. So Python is an open source programming language. You can download it. You can use it on any OS, Linux, Windows, Mac. Very helpful. Almost all organizations are already using Python, but you may also opt to learn R, which is very good with statistical modeling. So those are the two things that I would like you to learn if ever you want to proceed with your career in the analytics space. Right. So I think since this is your career talk and this is the last part of the analytics part, Brittany said we gotta work, right? And maybe that's the reason why you're working. So money does matter. And the good news with tech space in general, it actually has higher salaries in general, and but of course it's also very competitive. So I got this data from Glassdoor and PayScale, and the entry level is typically at 26,000 per month. So that's about almost 50% higher than minimum wage. And that's even higher if you're hired from abroad or larger companies, or maybe lower depending on the size of the company. And then later on, once you've advanced your skills and maybe built your tech stack, like you've completed the SQL, data visualization, etc., and you have more experience on and understanding of the business, maybe 2 to 4 years down the line, you would be reaching 54,000 a month, and maybe even higher depending on what specialization you're doing. And then later on, maybe you'd like to stick with being a data analyst, so you become a senior data analyst or an analytics manager, maybe 5 years down the line total. Average would be 100,000 a month, and if you're really that good, the sky is the limit, especially if you've decided to become a chief data officer, an analytics manager in a very big company, or a data scientist, a principal data scientist, wherein they would be guiding all the data scientists in the company. So yeah, that's the last part of the analytics space. But I'd like you to build connections as well. The tech space is very big. It's also very, very competitive. So as undergraduates, I'd like you to start building your connections. And it's good that you join this tech talk, because you'll be able to have an idea on what you want and what the work looks like. So I'm actually part of Analytics Association of the Philippines, where I got some of the slides. So these are our social media information, website, and email. So feel free to look into it and join, ask questions. You could also reach out to me on LinkedIn. It's LinkedIn/in/Jeric, or you can just look for my name, Jeric Monostro. And once again, thank you for joining us today. I hope you had a lot of learnings, and I hope you do consider analytics in your career. Thank you. Open for questions now.
Thank you, Mr. Jerick. We're now going to begin answering the questions submitted during this presentation. As a reminder, you can still submit questions through the questions pane in your attendee control funnel.
That's nice. So, Jeric, I really appreciate this topic. So, a personal question: how did you grow your passion for analytics?
Good question. I think maybe because in industrial engineering, we've already worked on data, and I really see its value. And almost any business would need analytics in their company, because it drives the decisions, and we're not just using intuition. Of course, intuition is very important, but I think data is also as important. So I would I really like analytics because it's really problem solving, like solving puzzles, especially with intricacies in terms of designing for the humans. I believe Jerome also said human is the biggest aspect in this space, especially in technology, social as much as technological. So analytics is so amazing because you need to be able to understand the people you're working with and be able to draw insights from the data and then relate everything together. So it's really just solving a puzzle for adults.
Agree, super agree. So, Wilbert, would you like to read the questions in the question pane?
Yeah, let me pick a question.
What are the common problems faced by the data analytics?
Common problems, I think usually, depending on the maturity of the organization, first they would see, they'd like to know what's happening in their company, right? So if you have targets, for example, on sales, what are your opportunities? Where can you sell more? How do you sell more? So that's one example of analytics. That's one good example. And another is understanding your customers, right? So in my past examples, they're more advanced. These companies are more advanced, but one problem really faced by companies is how do we serve our customers better and how do we maximize our profit? Of course, it's always going back to the financials, right? So being able to maximize the profit from each customer, but also balancing the act in terms of giving the customers what they need and what they want.
Agree.
Next
Uh,
question.
yeah, go ahead.
Would you recommend us to use for BI or Tableau to hone our skills on data analytics?
Either would be fine, especially if uh, I think they have desktop versions. So whichever you can get your hands on, and the tools are actually very easy to to understand because it's quite intuitive. Although you could use YouTube to find training on it and really just ask Google the questions like, how do I create a pie chart on Power BI? So, just pick one, stick to that one for a while, understand everything about it, and master the skill, and you'll be a really good analytics practitioner later on.
Next questions. Among the skills you mentioned, ano po yung pinaka-important for you?
For me, communication, as in any job, in any industry or field, communication is the most important skill that you need to work on. It's a 21st century skill, and with the advent of the technology and automation, to really fine tune and make sure that you won't be replaceable in the future. Communications is very important. Being able to empathize with the people you're working with, understanding the problems, and being able to communicate that to everyone. So, yes, communication is the top skill that I would recommend you to learn and practice.
Thank you po. Next question po. What are the Python libraries you usually use for, sir, to visualize the data?
Yeah, actually, I just used two, and I've started only learning about this recently. So I use Matplotlib and Seaborn. Typically, you already have everything there, but more advanced, you could learn it any. You could learn other libraries as you need. So for me, I'm actually tech agnostic. So meaning whichever tool I can use to do the visualization, I'll use that one as long as I'm able to communicate what I want to communicate.
It's really nice.
Yes, yun pa po tayo. What is the frustrating or challenging part sa data analytics industry po?
Yeah, good question. The most challenging part is actually the data. Plenty of organizations nabentahan sila ng data analytics, but plenty of organizations are actually not ready. Data analytics is an enterprise-wide problem, so they have to tackle it from a high level, from a strategic level, and really plan out and lay down everything they'll need, what data they'll be needing, what platform they'll be using, will they store their data, how will they get the data. So they'll really need to plan out the roadmap in terms of the data analytics in their company. So yeah, I think that's the most challenging part, the data itself.
Okay po. Question po. Was there a time that you encounter complex sensitive data? If so, how did you handle it po?
Yeah, so I'll answer this in two parts, so complex and sensitive. So for complex data, it actually depends on your company if they have the tools available for that. So if the data is complex, maybe two things, you can reach out to your data engineer in the company. They know what to do on how to connect all these data sets. Many companies have different data sources, and data engineers will help you, hopefully, if you have data engineers. But the other one would be to learn it on your own. So you have to be able to know how to talk to your databases. So that's SQL, and then being able to process that. So those are data engineering skills, the ETL, or the extract, transform, and load. So I'd like you to look into that if you're very interested. But yeah, that's one for the complex. And for sensitive, you'd have to rely on your current data practices in the company. And sometimes we have lawyers or attorneys inside the company. So you need to reach out to them in terms of the sensitive data. Data governance or data stewards would also have rules on destroying the data. So for example, you got the emails or PII or personally identifiable information, you have to remove it from your laptop after using it, etc. So there are different rules for different companies and different types of data. Yeah. I
Po,
think we
dumadami na po ang ating question po. Um, what is the difference between data analytics and machine learning po, sir?
Yeah, so actually, machine learning comes under the umbrella of data analytics. So as discussed, data analytics is a very wide space. Actually, we could go on further to defining business analytics. So it's a much bigger picture in terms of looking at analytics in a company. So machine learning is under it. So it's a type of um, it's a practice. So machine learning is using data with statistical models, applying statistical models in studying your data. So there will be much more complexity if we go on with this. But yes, machine learning is under data analytics. But of course, we haven't standardized this across the country. Do your due diligence in terms of researching the jobs that you'll be looking at. Yeah.
Agree.
Questions po, ito parang personal po ito, no? Tell me about a data problem that you challenge you po, sir.
Again, the data problem is really the people you're serving. So the leaders, the business owners, the units that you'll be working with. So the most challenging part is translating their business problems into an analytic solution. Sometimes they're asking for data that's just not there. Sometimes they're asking for data that for answers that data just can't solve just yet, or maybe they're just actually wants they actually just want the high level data, but they're asking for more. So it's really being able to translate that. That's the hardest part, I think, of analytics, more than the technical parts, which is the coding, the visualization, etc.
Questions po, what made you pursue the data analytics as your career po?
Yeah, two things. As I shared before, money matters, and obviously we also work. Sometimes we work for money, but I think data analytics is very fulfilling in terms of what type of work I like. I really like creating and solving problems, so that's something I really like about data analytics. And yeah, I think that's the main reason why I'm staying in data analytics. And actually, it's very hard to be replaced in data analytics. It's a growing space, very high demand from the industry, and you'll be able to have plenty of opportunities in the future. Yeah.
How many hours you work as a data analyst po?
Yeah, actually, that depends on the company you're working with. Typically, I look for companies who are much more flexible. So, meaning ours do not matter as much as your output. So, it's output driven, it's project driven, meaning as long as you complete it at a specific time frame, or if you scoped it like in a week, that's enough. So, actually, my advice to you if you're looking for jobs, make sure you also interview your interviewer, so you'll be able to understand their expectations. Is this time driven or project driven? But typically in data analytics, it's more project driven unless you're a reporting analyst. So sometimes they require you to be there all the time to extract the data for them. So it really depends, and it's highly contextualized.
Questions po para kay Nina Marie Mateo. Hi, I tried exploring the basics of data analytics. However, I find the data cleaning exhausting. Do you have any tips po?
Practice. So
Practice makes perfect. Parang ganun.
really, yeah, after a while you'd get used to it, and you'll be able to set up your own processes, or really you'll be able to find out the best practices in terms of data cleaning. And to be honest, it really is exhausting, but if you're able to study programming, you'd be able to automate some parts of it. Or for example, on Power BI, on Power Query, if you're able to systematize what you're doing, you'd be able to automate that part of the job.
Siguro baka last questions na po. From Andre Christian Santa Ana. Ano po mas magandang i-pursue among this, and why po data steward, data engineer, data scientist, functional analyst, analytics manager po?
Yeah, that actually depends on you, what you like. For example, if you're an extrovert, then good for you to work on the analytics manager or functional analyst part because you'll always be talking with the business or the organization. And then if you're more of an introvert or you don't like talking to people as much, but of course you'll still be talking with people, data steward or data engineer, and data scientist is kind of in between. So in data scientist, you'll have plenty of time working, but you'll also have plenty of time speaking with the people you're working with to understand their problems.
Thank you, Mr. Jeric Bonostro. We appreciate you being here. And now, before we jump to our last speaker, we would like to have some games for our student in this call. So let's call on Andre to give the instructions. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeric.
Thank you.
Hello, kita po ba?
Yes, Andre.
Actually, I'll be needing help from the host since hindi ko po makikita yung ano, yung mga magre-raise hand, yung mga sasagot. So, pa-help na lang.
Okay.
For the icebreaker, magkakaroon po tayo ng 4 picks, 1 word. Explain ko lang yung rules. First rule, guess the word correctly by looking at the pictures for clues. First person to raise their hand will be given the chance to answer. And if that person guesses wrong, others may steal the round. So ayun, according to our partner, which is a UP Technology Management Center, may prizes daw po sa mga mananalo each round. Ano yung prizes? Di namin alam. Malay nyo, house and lot, 1 million, mga ganun. So, ganun kayo. 5 rounds lang to. So, yun. Wait lang. Kita po. Ay, hindi yata. Wait lang. Share ko na lang yung buong screen. So, ayun, start. Walang ano to, walang practice round. So, kung ano yung papakita ko dito, sagutin nyo na lang agad. Madali lang naman to. Related about sa IT. So, yan. First question. Ay, di siya question. So, 1, 2, 3. Paunahan mag-raise hand ah. 1, 2, 3. So, ayan. Pakihulaan na lang po.
Okay. Si Justin Fritz Corpus.
Is it all right to speak or
Sure.
do I? Okay.
Sige.
So I'm guessing. Uh, oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I thought it was random, but there were letters given.
Okay, so for fixed mode. So, hulaan nyo lang po kung ano yung word. Tapos, you can say the word or you can guess muna yung letters.
Hmm.
Okay, so may iba po bang sasagot?
I think next na nag-raise ng hand, I see James Andrew Santos, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, sorry, Remar pala. Remar Caballero.
Gadget.
Tignan natin yung gadget. Wow, awesome. You guessed the word. So, ayan, pakinote na lang si Sir Raymark
Remar,
Caballero.
yes.
Okay,
We're
pakinote
going
na lang
to
po.
get in touch with
Thank
you.
you.
Congratulations po. And we will contact you po mamaya for instructions how to claim your prize. Next word.
So ang nauna po is si John Hines Longares.
Programming po.
Tama ba?
Okay. Pwede po kayo open mic or type nyo na lang sa chat box.
Programming.
Sumagot na po ba?
Sumagot.
Programming daw.
Ay, programming. Okay. Check natin.
Haba ah.
Wow, awesome ulit. Okay, John Hines, congratulations. Contact ka na ulit namin how to claim your prize. Next word. Paunahan na.
Ang nauna si Mr. James Andrew Santos.
Siya, ay hindi, okay.
Hindi, iba
Go.
yan.
Sige.
Ano po, technology?
Technology. Tama po ba?
Tama ba? Tignan natin, di ko rin alam. Tama, awesome. Okay. Congratulations,
galing.
boss. Napakagaling ng
Galing.
ating mga attendees sa webinar na ito, no? So, pakicontact na lang po ulit namin kayo how to claim your prize. Again, congratulations.
Thank
Ito.
you. So,
Okay.
ang nag-raise si Kervin Jan Santos.
Is it Android po?
Android. At titignan natin. Nice. O yun, congratulations, Mr. Kervin. Again, kakontak ka na lang ulit namin how to claim your prize. So, for the last word, ito na, last chance yun na guys. Paunahan na lang. 1, 2, 3.
Wow.
Ang bilis ah. Kenneth Charles Albos, ikaw ang nauna. Ano po
Ay,
ang sagot?
bawal yan. Charot. Sige, go.
Bawal po ba?
Sige, go.
Network?
Ano?
Network?
Betwork?
Network.
Alam, mali. Network. Okay. Ayun, congratulations, Mr. Albos. So, kukontak ka na lang ulit namin.
Thank you po.
So, ayun lang. Short lang siya. Pahinga lang saglit. Sa mga winners, antabay lang po kayo. Sasendan po namin kayo na email or either chat nyo po kami sa aming page sa Facebook. Tapos bibigyan po namin kayo instructions how to claim your prizes. Thank you.
Thank you po.
Thank you, Andre. Very competitive ang ang ating audience. Okay. So, Gerald, you may... All right, thank you. Now we are down to our last speaker. Our last speaker finished Bachelor of Science in Marine Engineering at Maritime Academy of Asia and Pacific and Masters of Science in Innovation and Business at Asian Institute of Management. He has wide experience in the academic, non-government organization, and startup. He served as the General Manager and Director of Subversity Incorporated and currently the President of PCI Tech Center. Let's all welcome Mr. Sergio Ramos.
Hi guys, good afternoon. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, Serge. We can hear
Sige.
you. Welcome.
So hindi pa naman nag-nosebleed sa mga technical side. I think music yun to your ears. Just want to share na yun nga, my quick background. Not much on the technical, but more on problem solving part of the business. So yun, you will see on my presentation that I will be sharing a lot of personal experiences on pushing for AR VR in the Philippines. So I think let me share my screen. Okay. Okay. Kita na. Can everyone see my screen now?
Yes, we can see it now.
Okay, so yeah, I would like to take this opportunity to give thanks to the organizers. Maraming salamat po. I'm very glad that we are doing this kind of event to really push or to entice more people to adopt AR and VR. And again, I am Serge. I'm the president of PCI Tech. And for me, I would like to focus on 3 points: the education side, implementation or implementing projects, and also a touch of entrepreneurship. Uh, uh, as early as if we are even on our bachelor's degree, or I think entrepreneurship is open for everyone. Kaya I will also share some of our challenges starting an AR/VR business here in the Philippines, and also paano namin yun na breakthrough. Okay, so we started our company 2018, PCI. PCI means Philippine Cyber Institute. Well, we cannot use technically the word institute because we are not an educational institution. But our target is to bring the education space to the digital space. And one of our key technologies talaga dun ay AR/VR. Now, we are on a mission to enable as many institutions as we can para later on we can have maybe 10 years, 20 years from now. Hindi lang IT graduates ang talagang adept with our technologies right now, but also almost everyone. Technology must not be dedicated to those who have opportunities, but we must use technology to facilitate or to cascade these opportunities. Now, a quick overview of the company. We started 2018. This is not our latest picture. Actually, I am representing two companies now. The one is PCI Tech. The second is Cybersity. Basically, we are one group, and we are pushing Education 4.0. So meron around 25 in PCI, 30 in Cybersity. So we are a 55-man team. And nag-start kami doing game development for different organizations, MAPA, private, public, contractor ng government. We started as an agency, but now we have productized our services with our AR and VR products. Pakita ko siya later. And siguro I would like to highlight one of our main advocacies. We call it Rover. We are sharing not just AR, VR, kundi the basic technologies sa mga far-flung areas. Ang approach namin, palaging holistic. Nasa gitna yung technology, like infrastructure and technology, but it must be coupled with the curriculum side and the capacity building or yung training. Okay, now what do we do? Dun sa let's say one school or a private company who would want to improve their learning and development programs, we provide them interactive and immersive content and yung mga platform na nagra-run nun, like blockchain, LMS, and big data. Okay, now, dito tayo sa topic. More on the AR/VR side. And siguro ito yung pinaka nagra-run sa isip natin. Starting a business in AR/VR or pursuing a career in AR/VR, parang yung nakita nating leader doon ay si Meta. I believe everyone is already aware of the Web3, yung mga like yung main difference ng Web2 at saka Web3, to the point na one of the biggest tech companies in the world like Facebook, they rebranded or they are presenting themselves as the leading metaverse company in the world. But the problem is I think narinig nyo rin yun, sobrang dami nilang face na challenges with their main product, like the Horizon, yung kung saan it's like a Facebook na lahat tayo ay mag-interact na through an avatar. Sabi nga sa meme, akala natin talagang Gina with the metaverse, but after months of even years of development, billions of investment, pababa to the point na may chika nga na even si Mark Zuckerberg is resigning as CEO, which is that's fake news. So there's this floating question, the future of AR/VR. We have to accept it. It's really affected din siya. Super affected siya with what happened sa Meta na as a company. But the this is one of the case studies under Technavio that the investments for AR VR hindi lang talaga siya focus on the social media side or the gaming side. Napakaraming aspects. And ang trajectory pa rin, and if you would visit Statista, may ano sila, they provide market studies for free para meron silang free model. And if you would search, I would suggest go to statista.com, search nyo yung AR VR market worldwide. Makita doon na increasing pa rin yung investment, and then yung revenue na na-generate because of these technologies, the augmented reality and virtual reality. So I think I would like to, yun yung first point of this sharing, na AR VR is a growing industry, and in terms of the engineers na na-hire worldwide, there's a big spike talaga on the salaries for this kind of job. And these are other supporting figures. Why is it failing, and why is it also growing? So what are the top adoption barriers? Poor user experience, yung regulation, hindi pa nakakapag-catch up, yung lack of content, hindi pa ganun karami, unlike dun sa regular na mobile games, PC-based games. And there is this yung nangyari din with Meta, kaya may reluctance. But yung opportunity din dito, AR VR is not just for social media or not just for gaming. There are a lot of use cases like healthcare, education, manufacturing. Hindi natin to may isa-isa with the time na nabigay sa atin, but I will be personally sharing with you yung side ng education and how we did it from the beginning until now. On the right side, we are now shifting on the technical side, na what are the strong tools that we can use for AR VR. There's this continuous battle between Unity and Unreal, and usually kapag si ZBrush, kino-compare siya with Blender, but actually it can be used like a combination. We use ZBrush for the sculpting, Blender for the overall 3D modeling, and siguro there are a lot. Later I would like to ask more. I would like to answer your questions pala on the technical side, but disclaimer nga, I am more on the business side. So I hope the second point, first point, we have there's still this market, and the second point talaga dito we have to position ourselves na kung saan, in terms of career, alin ba yung gusto nating i-take, because when we say XR, these are the AR, augmented reality, mixed reality, and virtual reality. I'm not sharing this now kasi ang assumption ko very adept na rin kayo on the description. But yung AR, it's more on overlaying the digital assets. Mixed reality, ginagamit yung application na yun on the real world, like let's say for the HoloLens. Now VR, complete 360 talaga siya. First person point of view, change talaga yung buong environment. But I would like you guys to focus on what I'm sharing, na yung development process or the tools that we need or the skills that we have to build, very very wide yung area, to the point na within our game development team, kung saan nandun yung AR VR, hindi pag sabing game development, hindi lang to Unity, Unreal, or 3D modeling. There are a lot of aspects, like for example, sa software development, we in the XR industry, we need help from the programmers. Like in our company, our strong stack talaga is with Laravel, Laravel PHP, and lahat ng to, it's an ecosystem. So um, let's change the mindset na okay, I will be a game developer and pasok ako sa XR. Hindi. If you are very interested with immersive experience, you can also come in as a web developer, or even mag-focus tayo sa, like na-mention po kanina, like sa data analytics, ginagamit din siya. And also even on the network side or the infrastructure. Okay. I'll be sharing my slides para to the organizers para mabigay din sa participants after this presentation. Now, there's this hindi rin to bago. Again, I assume na palagi nyo na ito narinig, like Industry 4.0. But, ayun nga, we are in the space na nandun na, yung space natin ngayon, talagang paunahan na kung saan tayo kukuha ng niche, or let's say, saan tayo kukuha ng expertise. And then, di nawawala dito yung AR and VR. And when coronavirus happened, the pandemic happened, mas lalong nag-spike yung need for the tech, but mas nakita din yung big skills gap, na mas naging evident din yung skills gap pagdating sa pag-develop ng different products. So, what we did in the company, parang two birds in one stone, we are pushing AR, VR in universities. Ang usual na nade-deployan namin with the AR, VR, we started now with the BPO, aviation industry, more of their simulation training. But ang goal din talaga namin, magamit din to ng mga estudyante para magkaroon sila ng real experience na hindi lang through theoretical, or talagang magamit nila yung technology na to with their everyday learning journey. So we provided interactive modules, 360 walkthrough, augmented reality, virtual reality. Now we are now at the context on my third point. Now how can we really make an impact with our technologies? Talagang if you choose gaming, then iba yung metrics nun. We have, even though tayo yung technical person, dapat yung mindset natin ay now cover natin up to the benefits of the end users. Kasi that way, yun yung pinaka magandang let's say development process, kasi we respect the feedback of our end users. Now, in the context of education, ang pinaka end users namin ay students, teachers, and parents. Very big, parang they're very excited on implementing AR, VR. And nakita namin with the training, in the training side, higher retention rate. If I am the business owner, let's say I would not name this one BPO company. Dati nag-train sila ng BPO staff 2 months. And then after 4 months, kasi the average attrition rate nila is 6 months, alis na yung tao. So imagine, how can we use AR, VR to help them? Instead of providing them videos, instead of providing them, what do you call that, classroom instructions, VR material na yung binigay namin. And then, guess what? Nakat namin yung training time into 60, nakat namin ng 60%. So from 2 months, na like 8 weeks, naging 3 weeks na lang siya. And the performance of the users are way higher than the previous na mga newly hired. So this is one of talaga mga game-changing like mga impactful na initiatives with technologies. And going back now on the na-discuss na natin yung impact, we should have this understanding din na yung AR and VR, it's not just a hindi lang yung, or XR, hindi lang siya with the tablets or with the phones or with the headsets. Sa headsets pa lang may different levels na. Actually, may na-miss out ako dito. Even yung mga AR glasses, meron na rin. And then meron tayo mga web-based na AR na ginagamit for web-based. So na-access siya sa desktop, na-access din siya sa phone. Actually, quick tip, we must really be studying or gaining experience with mga web-based na solutions even on the XR industry. Why? Kasi habang tumatagal, parang there are these big companies setting up na hindi sila agnostic. So ang nangyayari, at the end of the day pala, ang pinaka mag-dictate pa rin talaga ng direction ng market ay yung mga end users. So marami na nag-adopt with the web na AR and VR. So i-look up nyo yun. It's very, dapat like yung mga, even yung mga web GLs, there's a steady growth dun sa type of product na yun. Now, I will be sharing some videos. Nakikita ba? Wait, nag-overlap yung video. And I don't know why. Skip ko na yun, yung part na yun. But this is one sample ng AR. Guys, this is we are a Filipino-based company. I'm proud to say na lahat ng itong dinedevelop namin ay for the Filipinos din. And imagine if we have this kind of materials nung college tayo. Well, college pa pala kayo. I mean, ako, nung college pa ako, studying engineering, ibang-iba yung effect. Ibang-iba yung dating sa akin. And then, syempre, I will be excited to understand ano ba talaga yung intricacies ng flow ng mga fluid, even on the electrical side, mas visual siya. This one okay, so there's also this 360 walkthrough na pwedeng gamitin na combination with AR and VR para hindi pa rin with the metaverse na nangyayari. This is very efficient. Ang isa namin ginawa dito, like the Port of Manila, sinut namin yung buong port. Then when we click the button, enter metaverse, then lahat mati 3D or lahat na siya like computer generated. And this is another case na ginawa namin with the Navy. Ayan. So naka-VRC, hindi pala, this is a web-based pero pwede rin siyang VR headset. Okay, so several features on the training side, gameplay, realistic, multiplayer functionality, learning objectives, pwede siyang i-include. And marami, pwede siyang for familiarization, practice operations, assessment. And we are very glad na unti-unti marami na rin nag-a-adapt na universities. Benefits, reduce cost, reduce time. And skip ko na to. And ayun nga, the application of AR/VR is not just sa games. Kasi napansin ko kasi when I go school to school, yun yung parang first approach, yung gaming na side. But on the BPO, hindi lang siya ginagamit for training. Even for their actual technical support, ginagamit nila yung item, yung AR/VR na yun, to effectively support mga abroad na clients. Sa medical, ginagamit din siya for even actual na operation. Okay, skip nga itong part na to. Engineering, architecture, and art. Imagine if you are an urban planner and then you have this $10 million urban, medyo malit yun. Let's say we have this $1 billion project. Imagine if nagkamali ka sa mga pag-set up ng buildings na kung saan it would cost millions of pesos just to parang construct ng area. And nakita namin na with the AR/VR technology, even on the planning stage pa lang, ang dami nang pwedeng ma-save na or maiwasan na risk, or let's say mapaganda pa yung kaya nilang i-build sa actual na development. So normally dapat easy 4 steps lang. When I say target competencies, ano ba yung mga objectives, even if it's a game, i-map out, then i-build, then measure feedback. I think this is standard naman to with any software development. But yun nga, dapat yung tingin natin sa AR/VR, it's really a software development under the umbrella of software development. Now, on the business side, I hope many of the participants here would like to pursue business in AR/VR. It can start with a service-based. Now, once na ma-service mo siya, productize it, pwede ka na mag-offer ng platform subscription or even like long-term development, co-develop with your respective universities or other companies. And lastly, last week I was in Busan with the Game Developer Station of the Philippines. Yung event ay G-Star. Nakita ko po dun na there are a lot of AR/VR companies din worldwide. And I can say na these companies are actually outsourcing most of their manpower here in hindi naman pala most, pero many of their manpower here in the Philippines. Ang challenge ko sa group na to, that's why I would like to push for entrepreneurship. It's okay to really to work for companies abroad, but if maging part siya ng passion project natin, or if matapang talaga tayo, pursue natin yung if you would like to push for a business na here in the Philippines, we are in dire need of those risk takers si Philippines, kasi later on hindi sustainable na we are like an outsourcing company or outsourcing country for worldwide needs. It's good money, good business, pero ang nangyayari pa kasi doon na nakita kong medyo sad, we develop the games, we've developed the training materials, but they would sell also these materials to the consumers here in the Philippines at a higher rate or higher price na naka-premium. So yeah, I think that would end my session. I hope di kayo na bored na very yung approach ko is more on the practical side, how to implement the business or how to implement the project. And yeah, I'm very open to questions now.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Mr. Sergio. We're now going to begin the answering the questions submitted during this presentation. As a reminder, you can still submit questions through the questions pane in your attendee control panel. Thank you.
So Serge, I really appreciate this topic. So I'm working in a manufacturing company serving industrial oil and gas, and we use augmented reality, use ThingWorks. And I didn't know that we have Filipino-made products and services. So I'm just really proud of this. Just really proud of this. So, Wilbert, do we have any questions? Well, while we are waiting, Serge, so for the UE students here, what are the skill sets that the students can prepare if they want to enter startup and the field in augmented reality in the future?
Okay, so let me divide the question, yung startup at saka the AR/VR business. So for the startup, yun talagang honest advice ko dito. There's this growing support then from the government, from the private. I'm very happy na talagang in-encourage na yung maraming youth na mag-start ng kanilang company. But still, the attrition, ano ba tama? Wala na ko ibang maisip na word, but the death rate of startup is 9 out of 10, or actually 94%. So it's actually if you want to pursue yung startup business, you should really have this stomach to, or should I say, dapat yung failure talaga ay it's like part of the game.
Yep.
When we started 2018, I thought early months pa lang, ang dami ng failures, ang daming no's. Ano to, very cliche talaga siya. But in the startup world, sobrang dami nun. So as early as now, dapat very open na tayo dun. And yeah, I think if you have the mindset na may pagka-risk taker ka at the same time, you really, ano siya parang yung pag-startup, it requires a different kind of mindset. Some startup some founders, parang they would like to start a business and sell it to a company. That's a good path. Yung iba, gusto talaga nila, ito yung maging business ko all throughout my life. That's also a good path. But yun nga, since we are young here, young audience, itry natin lahat. Even to the point na I have many friends na nag-start up tapos pumasok sa hinar sila sa innovation person ng big company, earning way higher than nung nag-startup siya, and then after that bumalik sa startup space to come up with this real solution. So ganun, it's really a journey, and yung pinaka-advice ko dun, yung talaga natin perception natin sa failure. It's not really failure, but learning. Now going to the AR VR side, the mindset is ang approach natin doon. We have to educate everyone na though maganda siya as parang wow, innovative, emerging, but in reality, this is like a normal software na kung saan if need natin ng web or let's say web program para sa internal operations sa isang company, need natin din ng component of the immersive side where AR/VR can come in. Kasi yun na rin talaga yung fastest way of training people, visualizing, or making decisions. So, ayun, talagang when we talk with people, talagang hindi na to bago. Ang katotohanan, bakit hindi pa natin to ina-adapt? So, yun yung I could say approach on starting the business, on starting this kind of passion or business. Yeah.
Thank you. So it's just really a different mindset when you enter startup, right? And it's very inspiring, Serge. So Wilbert, any other questions that we have on queue?
What are the pros and cons by using the AVR as your business po?
Okay, so the pros and cons, I'll be completely honest. There's this big problem sa, let's say, manpower. Nung nagkaroon ng pandemic, talagang yung market natin ay kakaiba na. As an employer, medyo parang at first parang positive siya, pero nag-deep dive kami kasi maraming mga companies na rin talaga na they would hire or get people from your company. Example, they would offer twice or thrice the salary. Pag ganun, ang mindset ko nun, uy, happy for you. Full support ako dyan. So, ang siguro yun yung challenge sa people na side, getting good developers, and then parang the competition talaga global siya. So, paano namin siya in-overcome? We embrace it. Ibig sabihin, we are not there yet. Let's say, like these big companies na they can spend this very, very big. Kasi yung company namin, it's actually, we have an angel investor, pero parang bootstrap kami. Hindi kami VC funded or venture capital funded. So, parang yung approach namin, in-embrace namin quickly yung getong challenge. And then, yung paano namin siya sinolve, we partner with several universities. And then, talagang we help them, provide them this kind of events, even mga electives, talagang we push na i-implement na yung AR/VR para for our, let's say, manpower, power supply ay hindi kami, meron kami good pool. And if they leave after 2 years or to 3 years, parang accepted na rin namin yun if ginawa kaming training ground. Pero hindi ibig sabihin na ginagawa mo kaming training ground, hindi tayo magpa-perform.
Mhm.
So it's like finding the right balance and then finding good people and then selling the vision as the president. Every day I sell the vision to the people na kailangan talaga Filipino yung there's this big shift sa technology, yung Web3, Industry 4.0. I think it's a big opportunity din na magkaroon ng Filipino company na tumayo rin side by side with other big studios. So every day talaga pag-sell ng vision.
Right. Grabe,
Next question po.
bootstrapping. Go ahead, Gilbert.
Related po ba ang AR sa hologram?
In a way, yes. But yung ginagamit kasing some are presenting AR as hologram. Pero very distinct din ang difference niya. Let's say si hologram, they would require a different device na parang ilalagay siya sa floor and then may lalabas na mga... Nakita niyo, di ba, yung mga nakikita natin sa mga streets na like yung parang electric fan tapos nag-create siya ng image na parang hologram effect. So, parang yun yung hologram, same na meron din sa ibang bansa na napoproject na yung 3D like yung tao na project na dun sa space mo or even from your office, even nasa China siya. But for the AR, it would require a device, the glass or the phone, at dun ino-overlay yung 3D asset. So, or the 3D, the digital assets. So ano siya, related siya in a way, yes, kung titingnan, pero yung technology behind it, or how you would, the technologies na kailangan para gawin yun ay very different.
Thank you po. Next question po. Would you recommend VR in educational purposes since VR devices tends to be expensive po?
Okay, now, habang tumatagal, pababa yung hardware costs. Let's say, the Oculus Quest 2. Dati, 2018, nag-start kami. Talagang ang magandang quality nun na pwede mong ibenta sa mga companies is the HTC Vive. So, it would cost 30,000 or parang naabutan pa namin 45,000 with the regular HTC Vive. Now, pumasok si Oculus. Well, si Oculus matagal na pero nag-release siya ng Oculus Quest, nag-release ng Oculus Quest 2. Now, I think you could buy Oculus Quest 2 at 20,000, 25,000. So, pero wireless na yun and ang dami mo nang pwedeng gawin. So, ang approach ko dito, yes, I would recommend VR, but for now, laboratory muna. Instead of investing large or mga heavy rigs ng computers, baka pwedeng hanapan ng combination na may computer ka, meron ka ring VR hardware, and also yun nga, with the tablets that we have now, if you will use AR, it's almost no cost to the hardware kasi pwede mo siyang gamitin sa phone.
Okay.
So dun na papasok yung pagiging creative natin and resourceful. And you can really try with your universities or colleges na mag-test out ng different use cases of AR and VR.
Next question po. Ano po sa tingin nyo ang magiging future of
Wow.
AR and VR po?
Akala ko pinapapili ako ng AR sa VR. Kasi yun yung mahirap na question. So, pero sige, sinare ko siya, try ko rin sagutin yun. Pero anong tingin ko magiging future sa augmented virtual reality? It will stay. If you are using filters sa phone nyo when you are posting photos or sa Instagram and sa Facebook or sa TikTok, these are actually augmented reality technologies. Yung mga filters na ginagamit natin na overlay. Parang ang trigger, like for the AR, ang trigger ay yung muka, the trigger yung dalawang mata at saka yung bibig, and then nag-overlay ng 2D asset na pinapatok or the different effects. That's actually an AR na. So everything ginagamit na yun. ano pa magiging future? Continuous yung adoption for sure, especially on the industry side. Na-mention nga ni Reynaldo kanina na ginagamit din nila for the manufacturing. Dadami pa yan. With the advent of 5G, let's say, before si Globe, they were asking us to parang create yung mga support, yung mga pumupunta sa mga towers, they would use hologram. Yung mga technician nila naka-hologram na, pero yung mga supervisor nila nasa office, nasa headquarter. So kung ano nakikita ng technician, nakikita din ng supervisor. So nag-guided siya. So it can be used even on the last part of your operation, maintenance, everything. But ano ba yung magiging strong? Ano ba yung stronger, AR or VR? Personal opinion lang. It's not, hindi pa to back super ng data, pero I think yung in term, especially in the Philippines, I would say na ang unang magmamature talaga is the augmented reality. Kasi araw-araw na nga siyang ginagamit. And later on, maglalagyan lang tayo ng additional layer para mas magamit siya for other use cases. Wise metas. I see.
Okay po, next question po. Ano po ang impact ng virtual reality, and augmented reality sa society po?
Impact sa society?
Yes po.
For me, yun nga, hindi natin alam na ginagamit na natin siya. But ang pinaka-positive impact niyan, before nag-start tayo with the phones, right, na talagang keypad lang, we have this innate nature as human na marami gusto nating i-expand. So nagkaroon tayo ng keypad, nagkaroon tayo ng iPhone na maliit, and then or BlackBerry muna pala, then tinanggal nilang full screen. So ang next, and now si Samsung nagano siya, now with the Fold, gusto natin ng bigger interface, di ba? Always. So there's this big technology na nagawa abroad na even yung AR nasa contact lens na. And imagine if you are operating on a daily basis na yung interface mo ay unlimited. So yeah, yun yung direct impact nun sa yun yung pinaka-direct impact sa society. Mas dadami yung multitasking, mas marami tayong i-absorb. So yeah, I think ang kailangan natin pang gawin din doon ay asikasuhin yung ethics na side of this technology para mas maging mas maging sustainable.
Next question po. Why is metaverse VR unsuccessful po?
Well, matagal ng pangarap ni Mark Zuckerberg na talagang ma-push yung mga tao papunta sa metaverse or i-VR siya. I remember marami siyang ginawang experiment na nag-invite siya ng maraming leaders na lahat naka-VR interacting in this VR space. Pero with that kind of experiment or market study, I'm not sure if enough yun or even the current behavior of people talagang i-adapt na natin siya to the point nga na parang even to the point na yung mga employees mismo, di ba, ng Meta, if you have read it, na parang yung developers mismo ng Metaverse pinupush na nilang gamitin yung space para may masabing may gumagamit. So it's more of the really understanding human behavior. And napaka-broad nun. And I cannot pinpoint very specific as of now without deep diving on the details or without studying the parang failure as of now ng metaverse. But for me, ang biggest driver siguro ay yung current behavior natin. I think mas marami pa yung nag-a-adapt nung ang tawag dito sa VR na space, social space. Nakalimutan ko yung name. Pero maraming pupunta doon just to relax and para mang trash talk. Kasi walang boundaries. So, I forgot. So I think yun na, kailangan talaga step by step. Any emerging technology, we have to find bago mag-mass scale or scale up ng paggamit, talagang dapat dahan-dahan. But I think yung pagiging unsuccessful, hindi rin yun permanent. It really depends pa, ang daming factors. Baka later or 3 years from now, talagang mag-boom din yung VR na space. Na iniisip, imagine ni Mark Zuckerberg.
Okay po. Thank you po. Are there any constraints that affect a user's AR, VR experience? If so, what they are?
Yes, when we started 2018, ang main problem doon ay yung controllers. Dapat ay yung pag interact mo sa space, nakadepend lang sa controller. Yun yung one of the key challenges. Pangalawa, pag naka-VR ka, parang wala kang pa. So parang it's a weird feeling na parang ba't parang akong nakalutang. So but habang tumatagal, if you have heard of haptic technology, meron na rin ginagamit na yung AR and VR. This is also actually a good area of research na parang you would use this suit and kung ano yung mga gloves muna pala siya nag-start and then naging full suit siya na kung ano man yung may experience mo in the VR space, may direct effect or may pressure na nangyayari with the help of the haptic technology. So, yun. At the same time, yung content development na side, when I say content development, yung pag-create ng avatars, dati parang kailangan talaga manumanuin mo yung sculpture. But now, pwede nang pumasok ka dun sa space and i-shoot ka para magkaroon ka ng sarili mong avatar. Yun yung ginagamit ng mga celebrities ngayon. Unti-unti, makaka-cascade yun pababa dito sa mga normal end users. So, yeah, yun yung mga current constraints, but I think hindi rin tatagal, maging readily available na rin yun, even here in the Philippines.
Next question po. How do you make potential users understand the benefits of AR, VR technology po?
Okay, it depends. When we say potential users, we have to subdivide it na are they end users na talagang sa context namin, let's say you are a trainer or you are a trainee and iba pa yung pinaka like the decision makers or yung may-ari ng company na decide if they would want to adopt AR and VR. And meron pang isa pang party na sinasabing influencers of that decision na hindi sila nag-AR VR pero they can say like mga regulatories or parang industry practice. So paano ko siya pinapaintindi? It really depends kung saan siya. Are they trainers or trainees? So kapag trainers sila ang approach, imagine sir, di mo na kailangan magsalita ng 1 hour just to explain this one pump. Parang isasalpak mo na lang siya. And then you really have to focus on the benefits, not on the technical side. Benefits na perspective ng trainer. So if I am the business owner, parang imagine sir, instead na mag-train ka ng 1 month, magiging 2 weeks na lang siya, you would save a lot of cost, man cost, yung space mo hindi na masyadong hindi mo na kailangan mag-setup ng napakalaking training center or mag-setup ng new facilities just to dedicate them for planning. So it really depends on the kausap or the end user. Pero focus on the value, focus on the outcome, focus on the benefits.
Okay po. Bahawal pa po. With how fast VR technology improved, do you think we are near the point where everyone can access the VR experience po?
For the AR, gamit na siya. But for VR, give or take siguro 3 to 5 years. 3 to 5 years, may critical mass na kung tinatawag na gumagamit ng VR. Ang malakas sa VR ngayon is, I think by number of units, na-surpass na pala ni Oculus kasi ano siya, ang first na bumibili ng headset ay yung mga hobbyists or mga enthusiasts. Ganun yung tawag natin, pero kung para sa akin, tawag sa kanila ay first evangelizers. Now, after the first evangelizers, mahingit yung kapitbahay, and then later on, if you would help us, lahat ng universities meron na ring VR headset. Unti-unti, feel ko ano na siya, 3 to 5 years, even sa mga homes natin, I could say baka mga 60% meron na rin. So yeah, I think in terms of timeline, yun yung how fast, 3 to 5 years.
Okay po.
But if you are on the technical space or sa industry na, for sure ginagamit yun na rin siya.
What inspired you po to pursue AR/VR as your career path po? And do you have any advice you can give to people who wish to pursue the same path po?
Okay, so ang pinakahugot ko dito, when I graduated as a marine engineer, but before that, I was also studying in UP Diliman, mechanical engineer. So para nag-bridge ako nung time when I was in college. But before that, talagang love na rin, you really have to love technology. Not just parang the technical side of it, but the wonders that it can make to your everyday life. Talagang continuous curious ka. And for me, just so happened din na my education ay talagang parang ang nag-support na ay government. And yes, the government. So parang for me, ang nag-combine na eh. Parang I feel like I would like to give back. Second, there is this big education crisis in the Philippines na hindi masyado pinag-uusapan na sobrang grabing crisis. Third, yung love for technology. So parang nag-combine siya. And then yun, we started siguro the adrenaline rush then of starting a company. So yun, it happened, nag-combine siya. So yun yung pinaka what fueled me to pursue this kind of business. And my advice, aside from accept failure, for me, parang dagdagan ko pa yun. When I say fail fast, hindi lang parang mag-try ka para mag-fail. Hindi. You have to do everything that you can with your resources or with your creativity and resourcefulness. But maglalagay ka ng deadline kung kaya mo yun gagawin, and then publish it, push it, get feedback, and mag-fail yung product. So yun yung parang okay. Parang in-anticipate mo na, it doesn't have to be that perfect, pero at least nag-move forward ako, na-validate ko with the end users. So for me, yun yung if you would pursue on the technical side or the entrepreneurship side, that kind of mindset, very helpful siya. So, I would like to stick on that advice.
Okay, so I think that is our last question, right, Wilbert?
Yes po.
Thank you, Serge. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you po.
Like our page, PCI Tech Center. Marami kami ginagawa doon. It's an education technology company. AR/VR is a component. We do learning systems, smart campuses, anything under education technology. Na-touch na siguro namin. So like our page, PCI Tech. Thank you so much. Uy, thank you. Thank you, Anne. Thank you so much.
Great. So great po. Thank you, Mr. Sergio. We appreciate
Thank you for the invitation.
We will now proceed to the awarding of the certificate po.
Okay, so maybe call on first Jerome Gutierrez to open his camera. Diyan pa ba si Jerome? Okay, maybe we can start with Jeric. Okay. So, certificate of recognition is given to Mr. Jeric Bonostro. in recognition of outstanding contribution as a keynote speaker on the topic Data Analytics at the Tech Talk East X Diliman webinar on current trends and emerging technologies given the 25th of November 2022. Signed by Paulo Noel Paje, Director of UP ITDC, and Mr. Froilan de Guzman, UE LITS Advisor. Thank you, Jeric. Okay, so next one, Serge. Certificate of recognition is given to Mr. Sergio Ramos III in recognition of outstanding contribution as a keynote speaker on the topic augmented reality at the Tech Talk East X Diliman webinar on current trends and emerging technologies given the 25th of November 2022, signed by Paulo Noel Paje, Director of UP ITDC, and Mr. Froilan de Guzman, UE LITS Advisor. Thank you, Serge.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for listening.
So I'm just going to cite Jerome's certificate. So certificate of recognition is given to Mr. Jerome Gutierrez in recognition of outstanding contribution as a keynote speaker on the topic cybersecurity at a Tech Talk East X Diliman webinar on current trends and emerging technologies given the 25th of November 2022. Signed by Paulo Noel Paje, Director of UP ITDC, and Mr. Froilan de Guzman, UE LITS Advisor. Thank you, Jerome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have come to the end of today's webinars. I am certain that everyone is satisfied with the learnings you have gained from this activity. I am pleased to have Ms. Alexandra Bustamante, for the President of LITS, who will deliver her closing remarks po.
Hi, Alex. You're
Hello,
still muted.
dinig.
Okay, we can hear you now.
Thank you po. Ayan. I am Alexandra Bustamante, the President of League Information Technology Student. I'm very honored and delighted to deliver the closing remarks on this event, which is entitled Tech Talk is X Diliman Webinar on Current Trends and Emerging Technologies in Global Landscape. First of all, I would like to thank our partner here in this webinar, the Master Student from UP Diliman, the Technology Management Center, Ate Barbie, and the team as well. And as well as my co-officers in the League of Information Technology students for their enthusiastic and dedicated work. While I say that they put their heart and soul to make this event happen. I am extremely pleased that this event was well attended by our very own hardworking, dedicated speakers, Sir John, Sir Jeric, and Sir Serge. And of course, everyone who participated. Without every one of you, this event will not be possible. Apart from that, we were filled with the insightful comment. The participant benefited from the inspirational message from our beloved speakers. Anyway, we would like to express our sincere gratitude for your participation in this excellent event on behalf of the whole League of Information Technology students and the UP Diliman Masteral students. I appreciate everyone who came and stayed here to hear the speakers all the way through. Again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Alex. Now, before we end, we would like to thank our participants, distinguished speakers, and organizers for being with us today. We would like to extend our gratitude to our organizers and the LITS team for making this successful webinar possible. We hope you've learned a lot in today's webinar. So once you leave today's webinar, you will receive a survey on the presentation, and we would appreciate if you would complete and provide your feedback. So again, on behalf of UP Technology Management Center and UE League of Information Technology students and our presenters, thank you for joining us today. This has been your host, Ray Ablay
and Wilbert Bye-Bye saying good afternoon
and have a great rest of your day. Thank you, everyone. Wow. All right. Okay, so for those who stayed, can we please request everyone to open your camera so that we can just have our photos taken? Yes, definitely. You'll get a certificate after this. We're going to coordinate this with the LITS team. Okay, so Barbs and Bernice, would you mind leading us?
Okay guys, pa-open lang ang camera. One, two, three.
Nagsasagot lang daw yung iba ng form. Okay. You can answer that later. By the way, Bernice, meron palang feedback. I'm not sure if that is coming from your end.
Yes, sa akin yan, sorry.
Okay. So can we just have another one?
Okay. One, two, three.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Sobrang salamat, UE students. Please send my regards to Sir Froilan and the rest of the faculty. So I think that's all. We can end this call now. Again, thank you. Bye. Oh, how to get your prizes? We'll get in touch. Just communicate or just reach out to the leads team. Then we coordinate. Okay. Thank you.
Maraming salamat po, UP.
Maraming salamat.
Thank you po.
Thank you po.
Thank you.
Thank you po.